Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of On the Mic with Mike. I am your host, Mike Larkin, and joining me today is Sessions wrestler, is model, the beautiful Miss KK King. KK, it is a pleasure to have you on the show. How are you?
Good. How are you doing? Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. As we were talking about before we got on, last week, unfortunately, we had some things, but hey, we're here, and that's the main thing. I've been wanting to have you on for a little bit. I'm glad that we have the opportunity to do this because you have been killing it as of late.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I know it kind of like just blew up out of nowhere, but yeah.
I gotta say, first and foremost, I did see your bout with Shelby Paris, who is another one who's been killing it from Hit the Mat, from Evolve Fights to what she recently did with LFC, Lingerie Fighting Championships. Here you are taking her on for Hit the Mat. I wanted to ask you about that bout because you two had some great chemistry and it was a fun bout all in all.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was definitely a lot of fun. She's great. She's hilarious. The whole time throughout the match, like every time, like the bell would ring, we would just stop and joke around in our corners, and it was a lot of fun fighting with her.
I will say this, as far as Hit the Mat goes, Darius does an amazing job with his promotion. It's fun for a lot of you ladies, but we get to see beautiful women like yourself, like Shelby, really encompass and show that vibrancy and that fun in every bout that you guys do for Hit the Mat. And plus, Darius is a great shit talker, so it adds for a lot of fun and great storytelling.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's like the best shit talker. I love him so much. He's wonderful. He's so professional too, but he still, obviously knows how to have fun. And every time we're in the ring, even on Twitter, he just has such a big mouth, but it just makes it that much more fun.
Oh, but that's what's cool about it too. I mean, from back in the '80s, when you look at professional wrestling, when Andy Kaufman was egging on Jerry Lawler to that great Tonight Show appearance, to what we saw from the comedic aspect as well. Andy Kaufman could shit talk, but you wanted to see him get his ass kicked. That's the what I equate kind of Darius to. Like he's got the skill, he's got the ability, but at the same time, he can verbally assassinate, and he can verbally rile you up. That it's just like, goddamn, you just want to smack him, but it's all in good fun, and he knows how to do that very, very well.
He does. He definitely does.
Now, another thing I got to say in regards to Hit the Mat, I got to say, like, what's great about it too is it shows a lot of great different art forms from boxing, from just everything that's really encompassed with it. And I think he does a great job with that because, like you mentioned, the professionalism. We have a lot of great women looking good, looking absolutely at their best from an athletic standpoint. And Darius does his thing. I've been seeing his Instagram videos with him working out and whatnot. But goddamn, man, the fitness side of things, and with people like yourself, you really, showcase your athletic abilities.
Yeah, it's true. And I've been an athlete literally my entire life ever since I was a kid. In high school, I was a 12-letter varsity athlete. I played basketball, volleyball, and track and field. And then actually went to college for track and field and was a thrower. So I've been athletic my whole life. And like, I'm a bigger, curvy girl, but like underneath these curves are a whole lot of muscle. So yeah, but it's so much fun being able to do this now, like out of college, out of school and everything, and then now have this. And I still train and everything too. Like I meet with a trainer 3 days a week just to work out, just for, my sessions and to make sure that I look good on camera. So yeah.
First of all, you got the looking good part down, Pat, Miss Big and no, no, I mean that with the most sincere respect because first and foremost, there's a lot of beautiful women out there. It doesn't matter the big and curvatus, and first and foremost, that's what us men like. With the voluptuosity factor aside, it's something that's very unique. It's something that we don't see this day and age. It's something that's really accentuated. So you got that down, Pat.
Yeah, thank you. I agree. I feel like we don't really see it that much. I feel that when people think of like wrestling and boxing and stuff like that, they think of, like the super fit tone, like also like bodybuilder types, but us heavier girls, we're some hard hitters. So we come with the pain too.
No, I can respect that because I mean, people talk about Nia Jax, and I mean, Nia Jax came from being a plus size model, but she's the cousin of The Rock. She's doing her thing on the WWE front. Another thing I got to mention too, first and foremost, like when I first saw Layla Ali as a kid. Now, Layla Ali is a gorgeous, beautiful woman. Really, with boxing, being the daughter of Muhammad Ali, absolutely killed it. But she's another one. She's got those curves as well, and she can kill it in the boxing ring.
It's very true. That's why you can't underestimate us curvy ladies, because we're all ready for the fight. Same as the toned and bodybuilded ones. So yeah.
Agreed. And I look at it from a stance too. Like you're talking about boxing, you're talking about track and field. I mean, there's a common term called the jack of all trades. I'd say you're like the Jill of all trades, Miss KK. Because god dang, I mean, you're like the female Lisa Leslie, WNBA style, Los Angeles Sparks with the basketball front, and then you're like the female Michael Johnson in the track and field game. It's like, god dang, man.
Yeah, I mean, my whole life was sports, so it just kind of, I don't know, it makes sense. And it's funny because even after college, it was weird because, as an athlete, you're trained your whole life for whatever sport you're playing, and that is your life. And then after college, it's like, okay, so what do I do? Like, what else is there? And you kind of like lose your identity a little bit because you're so used to just to playing and training and practice and meets or games. And after college, I actually found a semi-pro women's full tackle football team, and I played semi-pro football for a year as well. And then before I had like got into this stuff.
First and foremost, that even adds more to the resume. Doing football, even adding to that. That's awesome because I look at it from a stance too. It's like, all right, let me do this basketball. I'm over here. Let me do this track thing. I'm over here. I'm fast. I'm agile. And then you're doing football, and it's just like, god dang. Well, in a way, I'm going to say this right now. When it comes to your ability, I mean, I could just envision you just tackling a lot of people because you got that physicality about you. So
Oh
just
yeah.
lay them out. So
Yeah, that was my favorite part. But I was actually I was a fullback, so
oh,
most of the time we would run the ball a lot, and so yeah, I was just kind of, instead of tackling people, I was blowing through people. So, but it, oh man, I miss football for sure. My whole life I wanted to play football, and was lucky enough to have the chance after college to play.
hey, I'll be honest with you. My pop culture nerdiness is coming out. It's like you got that tackling fuel, Bobby Boucher style water boy. You know,
Yeah. Oh, I love that movie.
all you got to do now is just say power bomb, courtesy of Captain Insano. My goodness gracious. Anyway, I digress.
Oh my gosh, so true. Oh, I love that movie. All his movies, I'm a big Adam Sandler fan.
Oh,
So
me too. I'll be honest with you. A lot of people even were kind of saying crap about when him and Andy Samberg did "That's My Boy," but I'm like, come on, that's funny. It is. I mean, then
yeah,
you got Tony Orlando in there at the massage, getting his, the cucumbers on the. It's funny. You know what I'm saying? People make fun of his later, but there's some gems.
yeah. I feel like a lot of people who I think that don't necessarily like get that type of comedy. Like I love comedy. I'm a big like comedic person. I have a very large sense of humor. So yeah, I love stuff like that. Love movies like that.
Oh, I can appreciate that too because I'll be honest with you. As a kid, I was a fan of. All right, now this is an early one for people. Before the Wayans brothers did Scary Movie, I remember seeing "Don't Be a Menace to South Central" while drinking your juice and
Oh
nothing.
my god, yeah.
Like the type of comedy in that. And first of all, what also gets me to is because I love music. I'm very eclectic with my style. The R&B stylings of Mr. Joe Thomas, all the things your man won't do. Fool, that's the baby's lunch. He's getting the wiener, the hot dog out. It's funny. You have to see the movie if you've never seen it.
Yeah, yeah. If you've never, I've seen it. I love that movie. It's a classic for sure. Like if you haven't seen that movie, you definitely need to.
I mean, mind you, this movie is over 20 plus years old, but we're trying not to spoil it for the people that haven't seen it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're missing out on a
Right.
classic. It's very underrated because a lot of
It
people
is. Yeah.
associate the Wayans brothers with Scary Movie, but they also forget that they had that movie. So yeah, definitely check that
Hmm.
out.
Or White Chicks. That's
Oh,
the
that's
only. Yeah, that is a newer classic, I would say as well. White Chicks is hilarious.
oh my god. I mean, when they're on the runway, they're doing their thing. Everything about that movie is just so funny. Of course, Vanessa Carlton, Thousand Miles, and Terry Crews, the ultimate secretary. How did you know?
Oh, I
I
love it.
love this
Yeah.
song. I'm just
Oh my god. Right.
comedic gold, comedic gold. And what's funny about
It
that too
is.
is with Terry Crews, like it's funny because he can do whatever role that he can do. But when it comes to Terry Crews, look at that time period. Like he's in White Chicks in '04, and a year before that, he's like dancing and breaking down in Malibu's Most Wanted with Jamie Kennedy. For those of Malibu's Most Wanted, remember that?
Yes. Oh my god. Yeah.
Ah,
Terry Crews, he's awesome. He's
he-
crazy. And I love him because like you just want to expect like this huge man to be like so funny, but he's hilarious. Even just like his small bitch and like The Longest Yard. That, oh my god, he is so my Cheeseburger Larry and The Longest Yard. I thought was so funny.
With some cheese on it. The emphasis on it's funny too. Even just going back, obviously everybody hates Chris, but when he was in Training Day too, like with Denzel and Ethan Hawke, like he had a role in that movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's crazy all the way back. It's insane to like really go back and see all these guys when like they just started to like come up and stuff, and then now they're like these huge icons and like big names. It's just so cool.
I think what's very cool is like there's a lot of great Instagrams that have like this pop culture nostalgia and R&B tracks. Like I was looking at one of the throwback pages on Instagram and I started like just I'll be honest with you, looking at like the 30-second clips and how they did it in a roll. Like for me, like I grew up like with R&B. Like you had your Coffee Brown with After Party, you had Montel Jordan with Get It On Tonight and the whole nine there, like from the late 90s. Like obviously he had This Is How We Do It, but like I grew up and I still remember seeing Get It On Tonight. Now mind you, I'm 7 years old, but then as you start knowing what it is like as you get older, I'm just like, he's talking about cheating on his girl. And I'm just like, but it's like at the same time, like it's a great song, but it's just like this man's talking about it's talking about cheating on his girl. And it's the same thing like when Next came out with Too Close in 97. Like I'm 5, but then as you get older, you're like, okay, all right, you know what's going on. So it's funny just to see the nostalgia that we've had.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Going back and listening to all those songs it's so funny, and like you have so much more appreciation now, like being older. Cause like I was born in 92. And so me listening to music in the 90s, like I didn't know what these songs were about.
Ah,
But I sure was singing them though. And now as an adult, I'm like, oh man, I probably shouldn't have been listening to that stuff. But hey, classics.
first and foremost, much respect because I as too was born in 92. What month were you born in 92?
December.
I was born in April. So yeah, I just turned 29 like a couple weeks ago. But that's the thing too, like thank you. But we grow up with a lot of this stuff and like for me like my mother grew up like Motown and stuff like the Temptations. That's where I got most of my music
Mm-hmm.
taste from. And my dad was a big into rock. So I mean, I you got that eclectic mix too, but it's just like when you have songs like Maxwell, Don't Ever Wonder, Ascension, then you like grow up with a lot of that great stuff. And I mean
Mm-hmm.
music soul child, like you have a lot of great taste that really grew up in that time period. Like 90s R&B can't be, that's you
Oh,
can't.
it can't be beat. It cannot be beat. It is like people today are still trying to beat it. And I'm like, not even close. Not even close.
Now mind you,
But yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of like with the stance of like I like some of the music that's out now, but I'm just like I find myself going back and listening to like serious 90s on 9 or 80s on 8 and stuff like that because like some of the stuff on the radio I'm just kind of like meh, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you've ever got.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I almost don't even really listen to the radio anymore. I just kind of like have the songs that I listen to on my phone, and anytime I get in the car, like I plug my phone in, like that's the music that I'm listening to. But I mean, there are some artists nowadays that I do listen to. I would say like Jasmine Sullivan is a big one for like the R&B soul. Like she's incredible. Her voice is insane. Like yeah, she would. If anyone is close to 90s like R&B, like the soulfulness of it, like Jasmine Sullivan is definitely at the top of that list.
See with me, like I'll be honest with you, like I was always a Faith Evans kid, and Faith Evans can't do no wrong in my eyes. Like I love me some Faith Evans. Yeah, I mean, of course you've had like your Kelly Prices and so many from that time period. Like I think one of the albums that really sticks out that I've always enjoyed, not just because they don't know and it was featured on that Sister Sister episode where they were going to the prom, John B, but but no, well, how great was that? Because in that time period, you got John B performing on Sister Sister, and you got Kirk Franklin in the infamous episode "Do You Want a Revolution?" Whoop whoop, and Jordan comes in at the end
Hmm.
of church. Like it's that stuff like that just takes you back, and the fact that like John B with the Pleasures You Like album, like that's a great album, but only everybody associates with "Don't Talk," which was a great song, and I wish he had more songs off that album because that is a banger of an album. But god dang man, like "Don't Talk" was him.
It's true. No, it's so true. That's so funny you said sister sister because I was like, oh yeah.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Like a lot of a lot of people don't even really realize this, and it's great that it's on Netflix. But I mean, we've gone so in time where it's just like you don't see Dub C performing just clowning on Sister Sister like you back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Aaron, the dude from Juice, and the dude from Bones with Snoop Dogg and Pam Grier just all up in the joint, just dancing with Jack K. Harry. It was funny. It made for great television.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great, and it was like kid stuff. Like that's why even like back then, I mean, 90s, early 2000s, like the Disney and the Nick and the Nickelodeon were insane. Were pop like those shows are incredible. Like they will always go down in history. I feel like the stuff nowadays is just like so watered down and so worried about being politically correct about everything that it's just like, like it's I don't know. It's just not as good. It's not as good.
Well,
But yeah.
I think when they tried to like cancel Eminem, and obviously we're in the days of cancel culture and stuff like that. Like for me,
Yeah.
well, for me, and I'll say it like this: it's just like there's stuff to get offended by, and there's stuff that's not right, and there's stuff that's wrong. But it's like, God dang, man, do we have to get offended over every little thing? Like I feel like
Yeah.
I want somebody went at Eminem for a lyric and that's all right. I love the way you lie. Like this is from 10 years ago. But I'm like, okay, he had the Marshall Mathers LP and he had songs like Some Shady Gonna Fucking Kill You, Ring 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 with the chainsaw. Like and that Marshall Mathers LP was probably a great album, but it's like some of the most violent lyrics and he's just going after everybody because of everything he was going on in his life. And I'm like, you want to go back to 10 years ago, go back to 20 years ago with the Slim Shady LP, but still like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
It's the I personally can't stand the cancel culture because like we're human. Like we make mistakes, we say stupid shit sometimes, and you want to
Yep.
completely
Yep.
get rid of my career and everything that I've done because of something that I said 10 years ago. Like, come on. Most of these people were like in their 20s or like in, like they were young when they said whatever they had said, and it's about the times, like those were the times, so that is a very normal thing to say. Like obviously certain things you want to say nowadays, but like I don't know, the whole cancel thing, I just think it's so stupid, it's so wrong. Like people make mistakes, and with the whole cancel culture, it's like not allowing people to own their mistakes and then fix them. It's like, oh no, you did this, you're wrong, it's over. Like if we were to cancel everyone, like essentially that's what it would end up being like not just celebrities, because the people who point their finger and get so frustrated um with like whatever mistakes that they have made, those people try and tell me that you haven't made a stupid mistake in your life, but you want to point your finger just because this person is in the limelight. I think it's so ridiculous, and I hope it ends soon because it's just it's so dumb. I think it's so dumb.
Oh my goodness. It's one of those things, and this will tie into wrestling before we get into sessions here. But when it comes to pro wrestling, like I look at it from a stance too. I think somebody actually put this out on social media, but I'll reiterate the point. So back in the day in 2003, when you had Tess, Scott Steiner, and Stacy Keibler in a feud with WWE, like they did an event with Girls Gone Wild. And mind you, the guy behind Girls Gone Wild is a piece of shit. But I mean, this was a time where they had like a brief little relationship with Girls Gone Wild. Like you saw them appearing at their shows, and it was the hotbed on commercials during Raw, and it was a time where Girls Gone Wild was at its peak. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
a lot of kids nowadays, if they were to saw that, they would be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe what I'm watching." And I'm like, "But that was the thing at the time. It was a different time." You know what I'm saying? Like they couldn't handle watching that on like a commercial for professional wrestling. Like, "Oh my
Oh
god,
yeah.
associated with Girls Gone Wild." If that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, no, they definitely wouldn't be able to handle it. But it was the times.
It
That was the
was.
thing. Like I remember all those Girls Gone Wild commercials.
I mean,
I remember all of them. Oh man.
it's the same thing over and over again. Like spring break, woo! That's all you had to say. You don't even have to have like a 30-minute, 30-second commercial. It's just spring break.
Yeah, that's all of us. Spring break, woo! Yeah, woo! Go wild, woo! Spring break, woo! Like that is the entire thing. Like, yeah, girls gone wild.
Girls go. Ah, oh my god. Well, I mean, then we also had the days when I mean, Room Raiders was a thing on MTV where you're pretty much picking people on their dates because of their rooms, for God's sake, and the Spy Kid.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
The Spy like it. Oh my gosh. When they would go in the guy's room and do the black light, I'd be like, ooh, nasty.
And it's like,
Yeah.
oh snap, somebody left the porn VHS in the TV. Here we go. Oh, it
Oh
was,
my gosh. It was so funny. That ooh, yeah. I love or next. Next was one of my favorite ones because I thought it was so fun. Minute you step off the bus, next. I'd be like, God damn, you didn't even give her a chance. Like you just saw her and nexted her. Like, geez, cold hearted, cold hearted.
that was a Rick James style type of show. That was Cold Blooded, is what it was. It was Cold Blooded.
It was. It was. Oh my God.
Well, yeah,
Oh
man.
geez.
Well, I mean, when you had the days of celebrityality with like Tool Academy and the Rock of Love and the Rock of Love Bus and Rock of Love 2, I Love New York, the Flavor of Love 2, it's just like, God dang, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we had.
That is what we had.
That's all I can say. But yeah, no. Another thing I will mention. Let's talk about sessions here because one of the things I love. You have a great profile on Session Girls with Jennifer Thomas does an amazing job, and you are a focal point of that because God dang man, I've seen your work. I've seen the beautiful imagery that you possess in your photos. My God, KK, killing it on the session side of things, showing your athleticism and really just showing your overall appeal in sessions wrestling.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I tried. I first of all, Jennifer is awesome just for creating that site and the way that she runs it. It's like the perfect place to go to find like legit people. Because unfortunately, like in this business, you never know what could happen, like who you're meeting, all that kind of stuff. But like you really feel comfortable and safe when you go to that site and meet people through that site. And yeah, I just love the way that we're able to like put up all of our pictures and our links to everything, our sites, um, and the fact that like people could leave reviews for us. I love getting reviews. I love seeing that I got a new like review and going through it and just reading what people have to say because I'm all about, I mean, obviously what you're paying for is an experience and I want you to have the best possible experience when you're with me. And it I love just being able to see that people are having those great experiences with me and they're having fun and they're just seeing kind of like who I am as a person. I think that's really important. I know that at the end of the day, this is a business, but we still need to have fun and enjoy it in the process.
And for me, I look at it from a stance of it's an art form. Like you said, yes, it's a business, but it's an art form. It's a different take on the professional wrestling scene. I mean, you guys have that appeal. It's sex appeal. It's fulfilling fantasies. It's preferences. It's really an all-around fun time for the clientele. And for me, like back in the day on MTV2, I used to watch every Friday, Saturday night, my senior year of high school. Like when you have the LFL, the Lingerie Football League, now the Legends Football League, it's a different interpretation on football, but at the same time, it's beautiful women in lingerie kicking your butt on the football field, on the gridiron. And it was great. I mean, we've seen Summer Rae, who was in the WWE as an alumni of the LFL. But that's why I look at sessions. It's like it's a different art form. It's a different interpretation, excuse me, of professional wrestling, but in the sessions and a fulfillment of the fantasy style of thing. I mean, you're like Mariah Carey and ODB. Me and Mariah go back like House of Fire. You're fulfilling those fantasies.
Exactly. Exactly. We're fulfilling those fantasies. And it's great. I love it. Like I love being able to do this. I love being able to travel. I love being able to meet new people. I've always been a people person. I used to be a bartender and like I loved being a bartender. I love, meeting people, having them come in, talking to different people all the time, and then like my regulars and stuff like that. Um, but this is so much better. I'm a Sagittarius, and for people out there who are big with signs, but I love to travel, and that's like a huge thing. That like I love to travel, and I felt like when I was bartending, I never got that chance. And now with doing this, not only do I get to meet new people and talk to them and learn new things about them, but I also get to travel, which is awesome.
Beautifully said. And I got to say, once you said Sagittarius, that put a smile on my face because I know exactly where you're going. And first of all, I'm an Aries, so I understand where you're coming from with the signs. Oh my God! As soon as you said that, we know what popped in my head again. Being us growing up in our era with our music, it kind of reminded me of Tyrese when he was talking about the signs of love making. Sagittarius, Cancer, say yeah, 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 yeah. Oh my goodness!
Oh God, Tyrese! I saw him in concert and
Did you really?
hated him. I hated
Oh, well,
Yeah,
what
I
weird
went
did
to
you say?
a Soul Train concert in in Vegas, and it was Tyrese, Common, Jill Scott. There was Tish Hyman, which is a newer artist. Anthony Hamilton, which is actually why I went. I love Anthony Hamilton. Um, but he was just so full of himself. Like, he was just so full of himself. And like most of the time that he wasn't on stage, he didn't even sing. He was just like talking to the crowd and then was like complaining about how he lost his rehearsal spot because he was late. And I was like, well, you shouldn't have been late. Like, I don't know. And then it just kept screaming his own name. He'd be like, Tyrese. And I'd be like, okay, we get it. We know who you are. But yeah, yeah, that man was just, yeah.
Now I'm curious, what year was this that you saw Tyrese and Anthony Hamilton and his Charlene singing butt and Jill Scott and all them?
um, this was, I want to say maybe 2018, 2017.
Ah, so this was after he was singing "I'm Ashamed of Me." Shame on me. That yeah. Uh,
Yes, yeah.
when he's singing at the jazz club in that video. Now, here's the thing. Like, I go back to Tyrese, and now people nowadays who grew up in this era, they know him from, Fast and Furious and Transformers and being the actor. Like, I remember him,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people don't even remember he was in
And
Baby.
crying on Instagram, but yeah.
Whoa, okay, all right, yes. And obviously, I remember Baby Boy, and obviously, Baby Boy was the jam back in the day. But here's the thing: like,
Mm-hmm.
my earliest memory of Tyrese, I don't know if you used to watch this. You remember MTV Jams?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was the host of that. And you had Grandmaster Flex, on the turntables.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the stuff. But like, and obviously he was in the My Way video where Usher. I remember him in the My Way
Yes.
video. Like, yes, I'm taking it back. But no, it's
True.
just it's one of those things. Like, and I still remember. Oh my God, did you used to watch those MTV like Spring Breaks and the TRL and all that good stuff back in the day?
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. I would be so excited, like so excited to watch like MTV Spring Break. I always thought like that is what spring break is. This is what's really exciting. And then I went to college and my spring breaks were not like that at all. Because I was on the track team and we had training during spring break. So we did not get a spring break. And I just always imagined, I was like, God, but this looks so fun. Like, I bet that's what it is. That's what I'm missing.
But last thing I'll say about Tyrese and crying over Instagram, one of my earliest memories of spring break with MTV TRL. Obviously, like growing up a '90s kid, I started watching TRL in like '99, 2000, right? So there was a spring break that they did, and now this is 2002 when this performance happened, where he's like making the girl cry, and she's like, "Ah, Tyrese." So this is when "How You Gonna Act Like That" was popular.
Yes.
So great.
I'm gonna
Yep.
that.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, it's one of those things. But yeah, no, I was gonna say what's funny is like you're talking about the track team. Another pop culture thing I got to mention. So you're kind of like Kyla Pratt and Fat Albert when she's like running around the track, and Keenan Thompson's cheering her on. You could do it, Doris. You're kind of like that with Kyla Pratt on the track team.
Oh God. I mean, I wasn't a runner, so
Oh,
you know,
all right. Hey, man, I'm.
I was a thrower. I it's bad because I went through great lengths to make sure that I did not have to run. Like it was like, girl, you might as well just run. Like, but I don't know. I just was not with it. I hated running, and I always did ever since I was younger. Like, all right, take a jog around the track. I'd be like, ugh, can't we just do something else instead? Like, I would always try to do other stuff, like anything. Make me do push-ups instead. Like, make me do squats. I'd rather lift weights than do cardio. Like, I've always been like that.
I'll be honest with you. I was also the kid too. Like every time we had to run around the track and do the half mile, the quarter mile, the mile run, 4 laps around the track, I'm like, Here we go. The problem also too was we would even go out sometimes in the rain, which again toughens you up. But it's like, man, it's raining out here. There's mud. I don't want to do 4 laps around the track with this bullshit. But no, I understand.
Yeah.
And I mean, in elementary school, we had the shuttle run where we would put like the things down, and then you run back and forth, and then run back and forth
Hmm.
again. Yeah, so there's a lot of drills with that.
Yeah, I've never been a fond runner. I feel like maybe I would have been if I had like if I had like proper like sports bra gear growing up. Um, but I've always been like blessed. I'll put that in quotation marks because it's a blessing and a curse. Um, but I've always like had a larger chest, and running with big boobs is not fun. Like, sure, it looks great to guys, and they're like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" It's like Babe Watch, but like, no, it's so painful. So like, I feel like that is my reason why I've like never liked running, because I've always like had boobs. And that's just, I feel like, kind of a weird thing to say, but it's very true. Like, I got boobs in like the fourth grade and was like a C cup out of nowhere. And then running after that, I was like, yeah, this isn't as much fun as it used to be. Running around chasing each other, playing tag. I was like, I don't like this. This is painful. What's going on? But yeah, ever since then, I was like, yep, we're gonna avoid running at all costs.
First of all, nothing wrong with that. With the we're talking about the voluptuosity of the press, but no, and I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's like I'll mention an Adam Sandler movie here. It's like in Click when he's like, "Oh, wait a second," then he slows to show the girl running. Yeah, that's what it is. It's Adam Sandler and Click. That's how us guys think. That's how it is.
That's how guys think, and it's always so funny to me, like when guys are like, "Oh, trust me, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's not a problem." I'm like, "Not a problem for you, but for me, you don't carry around these sandbags all day. Like, you don't know what it's like. My back be killing. Like these shoulders are hurting, boy. Like, not a problem for you. Of course, it's not."
So pretty much what you're saying is your life in regards to the voluptuosity factor and the breast there, my friend, is like you're kind of like Everlast when he went solo. You never really know what it's like. That's pretty much the story is what you're telling me right here. You're like Everlast.
100%. 100%. Yes.
Oh, okay. Now another thing I got to mention to you because we were talking about sessions and the clientele. You love what you do. You're very vibrant in the session game. Now for you, we talked about hit the mat. We talk about boxing, and what I also love about this too is, man, women like yourself, and I'll put you at the forefront because there's a lot of beautiful women out here doing what they do and applying their crafts. But god dang, man, it's so great just to see women at the forefront, killing in all different avenues of sports and really showing the evolution, revolution of just women athletes and just in general. It's a beautiful time.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I think that, women in general, we've just come such like a far way, and have gained so much respect that is well deserved in the past several years. And I love it. I love to see it. I'm all about women empowerment, and just like making sure that we all have like the same opportunities that everyone else has. And I love this sport because it's just like women kicking dudes' asses, and like or like, women against women. But my favorites are like, the mixed wrestling, mixed boxing, and stuff like that, when it's like really just like these strong, beautiful women just breaking breaking these men down. And it's like, it's just so much fun for me, and I'm sure a lot of the other women out there. But it's great. It's just like, oh man, to me it's like beautiful. Like, oh yes, this is beautiful. What a lovely sight to see all these beautiful, strong women like freaking owning their power and their independence and going out there and killing it. Like, I love it. And especially in the session game, we're all so supportive of each other and just there for each other. Um, which is awesome because, even still a little now, but back in the day, it was women were like pinned against each other so often, and everything has to be like a competition. But now things are more so a competition, and in a better way, as there's enough for all of us to eat. And like, let me help you out with this. Oh, you don't know this move, let me teach you. Like, I love meeting up with, girls that I haven't met who have been in the industry for a while, because I always learn something. Like, I love going and meeting up with new people, and just learning new moves, learning new stuff that I can use in sessions or in a video, or whatever I'm doing. It's great, and I just love that we're all there for each other.
And that's the beauty of it too, the camaraderie factor. And I mean, you miss Bad Mama Jamma just as fine as you could be doing what you're doing. I also have to add that part too, because it's like, God dang, oh no, God dang, it's just like I've seen a lot of your stuff where it's just like, I mean, when it comes to sessions, like again, we're talking about preferences and the sweet fantasy, like we mentioned earlier, but it's just like, yo, like there's systematic dissection, there's joint manipulation, there's scissor holds, there's scissor locks, there's just overall smothering just in general. And I'll be honest with you, as a male, I will say this as the male point of view here. Sometimes we need a good little ass whooping. It happens. I'll say that as a male. I know I have. We all have. But it's just like there's something about that you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like on a legal front. It's not like you're beating me up on Jerry Springer, for God's sake. So I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun and it's an art form, and there are a lot of guys that do like the fact of just like, okay, here's some money, let me drop this deposit down, let's have some fun, and here, kick my butt for like hours. You know what I'm saying? So there's something to it. It's an art form.
Yeah, it really is. I love it. Like, I've had sessions where they were just like, "Yeah, I just want to be a punching bag for the day. Like, I'm just gonna stand here and throw your gloves on and have at it." And I'm like, "Really? Okay, like, sure. Like, this is like a training session. Like, this is cool." But yeah, it's all different kinds of sessions, and they're always fun. They're always fun. Even the more like competitive ones that I do, um, I'm just a competitive person, so yeah, they're just they're all very fun.
Well, it comes with the territory, and I will also say, and what really goes about it too is just it's something like that where I guess it's not shameful for the guys, but it's kind of like, all right, like this woman kicked my ass. It's kind of like an honor, you know what I'm saying? It's like our scars, it's like our badge, if you will. You know what I'm saying? It's like our own personal badge.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely, and I feel like I feel like guys that go against me are like, they're never like, "Oh dang, like she kicked my ass." Like, they're like, "Oh yeah, man," because like I'm 5'11", I'm currently 210, so like I'm not a little girl. Like, I'm not like some 5'2" little 95 pound. Like, I'm a big woman, so you get your butt handed to by me. It's you know, it was bound to happen.
So pretty much I'm gonna paint a picture with you because you want to talk about you, Miss 5'11", 210. You're not a big, you're not a small girl. I'm gonna look at it like this. I'm 5'10". I'm almost 200 pounds. I'm not the I'm not the best in shape guy either, but I will say this. That's what makes you unique. And it becomes like we talk about beauty, all shapes and sizes. That's what makes you you from an internal and external standpoint. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh
Nothing
yeah,
wrong.
nothing wrong at all. Nothing wrong at all with that. And it's fun. I think like a lot of my pictures, well, not a lot of, like half of my pictures are on my session site are like me pre-COVID, because the pounds definitely did come on during COVID. I won't even lie. Like, you go from traveling and working out and doing all this stuff all the time to like sitting in the house for
Yep.
a month straight, 2 months straight, 3 months. Oh God, this is a whole year now. Like, you know, so it's funny, and I had to definitely tell myself, like, once I hit into like the two range. This isn't my first time being over 200 in college. I was over 200 pounds, but I was lifting heavy and all that stuff. So most of it was muscle, anyways. But now and stuff, I was like, oh my God, I don't know how this is gonna be. Like, are my sessions gonna go down because like I put weight on? Like, what's it gonna be like? And it's funny because actually people I have gotten so many good responses from like putting on weight. Like, I was afraid at first, because I'm used to being like 180, like 175 around there. And when I put on weight, people were like, "Oh, I love it, I love it. Like, how much do you weigh? Could you weigh more?" I was like, "What?" Like, it was such a shocker to me. But it's great. I love that there are men out there who have that appreciation for thicker women, and like for some, it's like the heavier the better. But I love it because I'm thick in transitioning back to my old weight, but still athletic, still training, still doing all those things, and I just love that there's guys out there that appreciate that.
I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to say this term. Now, as we all know, the thick thighs save lives. That's not where I'm going with this. But I'm going to also add to that. Disturbed, a great rock band, had a song called Down with the Sickness. And I think us males, as a gentleman, if you will, we're all down with the thickness. So we're okay with that. You know what I'm saying? We're down with the thickness.
Oh yes, definitely down
Hey,
with the thickness.
down with the thickness. But no, I mean, okay, if Petey Pablo could come out, would talk about Freak of League. I mean, come on now. We're talking about 34, 36, good hit. Like, you know where I'm going with this. Like, I mean, if we could have Freak of
Oh
League.
yeah.
You got to raise up at that same time. Anyway, I digress. My nerdiness aside.
No, it's all. I love. I'm trying to think of whose song it actually is, but Lil Dicky is in it, and they're like, "She ain't fat, bro. She just a little thick." Like that
Yes.
song right there. I love that song. That 200 and up club. Like I don't want her unless she 200 and up. I was like, "Hey, that's my song." Like.
It's like they're talking about me in this song. Yes.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, they're totally talking about me. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And if Keyless and Nas can talk about my milkshake take, Bill brings all the boys to the yard. Like, come on, like you got Keyless like that. There's a song for everybody. I mean,
Lord, yeah, Lord have mercy. The boys are always in this yard with these milkshakes. They never go away.
go
That
girl.
is for sure.
Oh, girl. Okay. Well, I mean, when Sir Mix-a-Lot came out with the classic "Baby Got Back," and then he tried to like follow it up with "Put It on the Glass," which is about the breasts, and he got like it's like the friggin' car wash. He's got the breasts all up on the mirror. Like, I mean, come on, man. You try to focus up with. I mean, because he's known for the ass song, but it's just like, all right, now you want to go the other direction. Like, come on, man. It was good, but it will never live up to "Baby Got Back."
It will never live up to that. I remember being a kid and going visiting family in San Diego, and that was like my auntie would get us all to dance to that song. She'd be like, "Okay, come on, shake your booty, shake your booty." Like it was a thing. Ever since we were little, she would put on "Baby Got Back," and that's what we would dance to, and then we would be like, "Okay, that's the start of our trip here to San Diego. Now let's go eat as a family." Like now that we've all danced with their mix a lot. Like
Funny story I will add to that because I know where you're going with this with like family reunions and stuff. Because there's some songs that you put on in front of the family. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe what song is on right now. But this also ties in with my best friend. Now, I love my dude Steve to death. He's my co host, right? So he was at a family function with his family. I forgot what it was, if it was like a christening or whatever it was, but they were all together with the fam, right? So he's telling me, Mike Larkin, you're never going to believe what song came on the what the DJ was playing. I'm like, what? Now, for me, I love this song. I remember when it came out in 2000. Now, mind you, as you get older, it's one of those songs where it's just like, I can't believe she said that. Tamia, Stranger in My House, one of my favorite songs. Great video. Tamia was fine as wine. But the line, tell me where my spot is. Not something you want to hear at a family outing. Tell me where my spot is. That's what happened. And he was telling me this, and I'm like, okay, number one. I'm like, number one, that's funny, but number two, I'm not hating on that because I love that effing song. I love that.
yeah, it is. It's funny too because like it gets to a point where like adults we just don't really care. Like
Yeah,
at the right family reunion, like this is on for us. Like this music is playing for us.
yeah.
We don't care about all the kids running around. Like they're not paying attention to this song. Like who cares? So yeah, at that point, family reunions, it's definitely for the adults. It's for them to all catch up
Yep.
and get together, have drinks, eat some good barbecue, and have a good time and let their kids run around like crazy and not worry about it because you got a village with you to watch them.
It's like in Tyler Perry's Diary of a Mad Black Woman, where they're all at the barbecue, and then you got Tyler Perry like going after him. Shut up and sit down, and take your meds or whatever it is. It's like that scene. That's what that is.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's it. That's family reunions.
My goodness. Well, no, the thing too is like with Tamia, like I remember her like from '98 with Imagination and Jermaine Dupri. Like one of my favorite Keenan and Kel episodes is when he goes to the prom and he's gonna take Tamia to the prom, and then Kel's getting taken up by the bodyguard. He's like, "We ain't going nowhere," and he's like right at his chest. Like that's like memories for me right there, you know.
Oh God, yeah, I love Kaden and Caleb. Oh man, those are the days. I wish it was like I could, especially shows like that or all that. I would love to like go back and watch all those shows again.
I would, but like you know what it is too. Like I know Keenan and Kel are like producing some of the new all that stuff, but I'm just like okay. Like the only reason like I checked out Game Shakers on Nickelodeon was because of Kel, and I love Kel Mitchell. I mean, he was also in. I'm gonna say this right now. I remember seeing Like Mike, but he was also in Like Mike 2
Mm.
Streetball. Now, mind you, it's him and the kid that was in Big Mama's house, the kid that played, you know, Trey and Trent. And I'm just like, okay. And then I gave it a shot, and I'm just like, it's not the same. I don't know if you've seen like Mike 2 Street Ball, but it was like a thing. Do you remember that movie?
I didn't. I don't think I saw like Mad 2.
So it was
Or
a
if I did, I just don't remember it.
yeah,
So
it's very forgettable. It was a direct to DVD. And the only reason I checked it out was because Kel was in it, and he couldn't even save the movie. And I think it was a big thing at the time because you know you had guys like Hot Sauce in the street ball game, and I was a frequent player of the NBA Ballers series, the one that had Stephon Marbury on the cover, and then here's NBA Ballers Phenom with the story mode, and you got Chauncey Billups. He was like the Mike Tyson and Mike Tyson punch out because once you got the Chauncey Billups at the end of NBA Ballers Phenom, oh my God. I had to freaking do that like 10 times in a row because he kept whipping my ass 30 to like 20 back in the day. You know what I'm saying? It's like the final boss in a video game, basketball style.
Oh my God, no, yeah, yes, seriously, Final Boss the video. Oh my gosh,
It's what it
the
was. It was
best video games back in those days.
I know it was basketball style. And then you had games like Def Jam Vendetta, and then here you are taking on people like you know freaking Ghostface Killer and Method Man and Redman, the whole nine. Like that, nothing can compare to that.
No, oh God, no, 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 no,
Oh,
absolutely not.
um, and speaking of that, I will say this. Again, our childhood, like we're losing DMX, Black Rob, and Shock G like all in a row. Like that was just that got me.
Yeah, that was that was a lot. That it this whole past year and then coming into this year, it has just been a lot all together. And it's just, oh man, it's just crazy to think about all the people that we've lost. And man, just RIP. Like that's the best, like that's all I can say because it's just been so much. There has been so much loss, especially for us. And but you know, honestly, we're getting older. Like we're getting older and that's just it's life and it's crazy because like our parents went through it, you know, or growing up in like the 80s or whatever, 70s, 80s, and losing the people from their, you know, childhood and adolescence. Like now we're going through that same thing, but it's so wild because you just these people you never think that like something could happen. Like my whole thing, like Kobe, like I never thought Kobe was like gonna die. Like of course eventually he was, but it's just like you never think of that stuff, you know? You never think about these people who mean so much to you growing up and then all of a sudden like they're gone. Like I know when Michael Jackson died, like
Oh,
that was huge for literally the entire world and it was such a crazy thing, but like I loved Michael, but the level at which my parents loved Michael, like man, I just remember seeing like my mom, my stepmom, my dad, like I just remember seeing them like cry and be like, oh my God, like, I just can't believe that like he's gone. And I like it affected me too. And like I grew up, you know, listening to like Thriller and all that stuff, and even, you know, the Jacksons, all of it. But like it didn't hit me as hard as it hit them. And now that we're, you know, in our 20s heading into, you know, late 20s heading into like our 30s and stuff, it's just gonna keep happening, and it's just so wild to think about, you know. But it's a part of life, and we're growing and getting older, and it's just something that happens.
I was about to say, stop making us feel old, man. You want to talk about getting to early 30s, but no, I completely understand.
Right.
I saw that little
I am not
subtlety.
excited to turn 30. That is something that I'm not excited at
Oh,
all to turn.
oh, not at all. And I noticed that subtlety, as we get older. I know, and I didn't want to mention, but I noticed.
Older.
No, but I understand. I remember when like Michael Jackson passed away. My mom was devastated. My mom and I both cried. I'll be honest with you. My mom was like that also when Luther Vandross died, like 4 years earlier before that.
Mm,
Because she was a Luther fan. And I mean, it's one of those things too, where like Black Rob, like I grew up on Whoa and Bad Boy for Life, like watching that
yeah.
premiere on for watching that song premiere on Rap City in the basement with Big Tigger at like 4 p.m. before 106 in Park would come on with Free and AJ. So it's like that. And then you see DMX, like I remember What's My Name, Rough Riders Anthem. Their list of classics are endless. And Shock G is one of the ones who broke Tupac in with the Digital Underground, the Humpty Dance, I Get Around. Like it's just like I can't believe it. And they're all around. They're all
Yeah. It's yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Like I think of people right now that like I feel like I would be so affected by, because like yes, those are people that like I grew up in my childhood, but my parents was with them longer, and like it still affects me. Like dang, like losing DMX was like huge. I was like, whoa, what? That's crazy. What the hell? What's going on? But I feel like really big people that will hit me super super hard. Um, I feel like are gonna be like Beyonce. Like when Beyonce goes, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, like, I'm gonna freak out. Like when Beyonce goes, when like Chris Brown goes, when like people like, oh man, like even Jay-Z, when Jay-Z goes, I'm gonna be like, what is happening? Like this is crazy. What is going on? But it's just yeah, it's weird. It's weird. But we put these people on, these pedestals like they're not human, but they're human.
I gotta mention Beyonce really quick because, like you mentioned, Kobe Bryant, one of my absolute favorites, one of the best basketball players of all time, if not the greatest, the goat. So here's the thing: like my earliest memory, also Kobe was on All That with Christy Knowings and Amanda Bynes in that whatever segment. And okay, since you mentioned Beyonce, we're gonna go there. Bugaboo, you make me want to throw my page out the window. He was in the Bugaboo.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Cause you a bugaboo, a bugaboo.
Yep. Hey, I even go back to when they were singing "Amazing Grace" on Smart Guy. Man, you got Mo Tibbs, you got Omar Gooden trying to give trying to give her the devil tape.
True.
Oh my god,
Oh my god. So many good things from back then. So many things. It's endless.
it is. Well, you're kind of
The
like
list is endless.
I'm gonna be honest with you with your style and how you overall go with your craft and your art form. I'm gonna say you're kind of like the West Side Connection. You make them bow down before they come to your town. I see your I see your style, Miss. I'm a competitor, just ready to rip ass, huh? Huh?
Yeah, I'm not I'm always prepared for a good ass whipping. So
You're also kind of like, and here's an underrated one: Ice Cube, MC Ren, Dr. Dre, Hello from like '99, 2000, when they tried to like do a NWA sort of kind of like reboot song, but it's just like it's good, but it's like it's not the same without Easy.
oh yeah, no. Not the same. Not the same. There's always gonna be people trying to bring stuff back, but it will never be the same without the originals. Like even even TLC was trying to come back, and I was like, yo, but it's just not the same. Like I love y'all, but it's not the same. So
Hey,
it's
I'll be,
not don't do it.
yeah,
Like,
I get it,
but
but
like yeah, it's like it's not the same without Left Out. Y'all know that. You guys
exactly.
know that was the first album that I ever bought by myself. Like saved up money and then bought a CD was TLC's Fan Mail. And oh yeah, love them.
Okay, first and foremost, I love you even more for saying that, KK, because I remember there was a spot on Long Island, 10 minutes from my house, Bayshore, Long Island. I used to go to the Wiz, but and I just because Best Buy was right there, but the Wiz was a very popular store. I remember picking up TLC fan mail. I'm talking about no scrubs. I'm talking about unpretty album from top to
Mm-hmm.
bottom. was amazing. And the other thing I'm going to say is one of my favorite tracks of 99 going to 2000, like you mentioned Lisa Left Eye Lopez, like I loved her on with Donnell Jones on You Know What's Up. The Where I Want to Be album, flawless.
So good. So good.
So good. I mean, with the way that we're talking about it, it's kind of like we're like rough ends. We don't want to talk about it no more, but we still talk about it.
Yeah. It's true. It's like you love to reminisce, but then you're like, yeah. This is that feeling at the end.
Like one of the most, I don't know if you remember this kid, like I'll mention this before we go back and I want to talk about modeling here, but god dang man, like I remember, so Color Me Bad came out with 3 great songs in the 90s. You had I Want to Sex You Up, you had All for Love, and you had I Adore Me and More. Color Me Bad had that infamous song All for Love that I mentioned. So Stevie Brock, who was like 12 at the time and he was on the Disney Channel, he had one hit and he covered All for Love. And here's the thing too, he's like 12 and I'm like, dude, how the hell do you know this song? Like, don't, like, what are you doing? It kind of like fucked up my trajectory of like pop culture there. I'm like, what is this dude? It's like a Color Me Bad, like, and he's the girl in the video is like a foot taller than him and they're playing basketball and I'm like, what? It's kind of like when I saw Dream Street. It happens every time. This is before Jesse McCartney hit it big solo wise. And it's like they're dancing on the bridge. They're dancing on a yacht. They're in the city. The girl's a foot taller than him. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, those videos were always so funny. Like the young guys trying to be, be the it man, but like they're boys. They are boys. They're like 12 years old and they're so short. They're so small, and like you can get 12-year-old girls, which is fine. But the thing is, they're always gonna be so much taller. Like, man, I'm tall. I'm a tall person. I'm 5'11", above average for women, which is funny because to me, I just don't feel like that's right. I feel like I'm average and everyone else is just below average. I don't know, but everyone in my family is so tall. So, but when I was young, I think I've been 5'11" since the since the seventh grade. Since the seventh grade, I've been 5'11". So that's me at like 12, 13 at 5'11", like trying to get me for a video, messing around thinking I'm a 21-year-old. Like these girls are just so tall already. And it's so funny, like watching those videos and just seeing these little boys and like these super tall, like 13-year-old girls. It's so funny.
It's like when little Bow Wow was talking about basketball is my favorite sport, covering Curtis Blow from the '80s for the Like Mike soundtrack, and he ain't never lost it all when he's playing hardball with Little Zane and all them from back in the day, Little Wayne and everybody playing the hardball. Oh my goodness!
Oh my gosh, little Bow Wow. Now he is a very small person, so like,
Yes.
definitely trying to find his little teenage love interest. You always have to go with like such
Yeah.
a small little girl.
And how interesting is it now that he's trying to get in the professional wrestling scene? I think he's training with Rikishi and all them in like California. Like he's thinking about wanting to get into wrestling, and I'm like, Bow
Is
Wow.
he really?
Like he was talking about it. It's like every celebrity, ever since we've seen Bad Bunny, wrestle at WrestleMania, and he was great. And we saw Logan Paul take a stunner. It's like, and Soldier Boy was going at Randy Orton for, just, wrestling is fake and yada, 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 and that bull crap. And I'm like, Randy Orton's a third generation superstar. How about you sit down, tell him to fuck off, Soldier Boy, which you're dumbass. But anyway, I digress. So when it comes to, I know, when it comes to Bow Wow, he was talking about it. I'm like, I was kind of curious because, as you know, he had the infamous song. I was wondering if it was like him and T-Pain. He wanted to get it out of his system.
I'm sure. I'm sure it's like something, growing up, being able to watch wrestling, WrestleMania, the WWE, WWF, like all of it. I'm sure it's like one of those things like that he wants to get out of his system. I don't know how many boys my age, like that was just such a big thing, was wrestling, like growing up. So, but it was funny because I never watched wrestling growing up. I never watched it. It was just not something that like my family watched. So I just never watched it. I never saw it. Like I would only ever see, like previews or commercials or like someone telling me about something, but I growing up had never watched a wrestling match like ever.
Well, I can also respect that too because it's like I know back in the day it's like taboo. It's like, oh, you've never been in the business. Like I think that exists sort of now for anybody who wants to get into wrestling. But I'm like, when you have like Total Bellas and you have Total Divas and all these shows from an entertainment and reality standpoint, and I of course Basic Business with the Miz, it's another avenue for people to get to know about the wrestlers. And then it's like, oh, you see them over here doing this, so it's another avenue for people to like maybe possibly want to get into wrestling. So it adds a lot.
It does. It definitely does. And I love that there's all these different avenues now to get into wrestling instead of just like, oh, well, if you don't watch what The Rock is cooking, like,
If you have
then
never seen The Rock versus Stone Cold, how dare you? That's what it's like, kind of.
like, yeah. So yeah, there's stuff like that, but it's like that's not the only way to like get into it. And I have so much appreciation for like wrestling in general. And I think my biggest thing, or like when I was like really interested in it, would be when I saw Glow, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, when I saw Glow, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, and of course that wasn't until like I was in my 20s, but just eventually saw Glow and was like, oh snap, this is so cool. Like this is dope. Like these girls are badass. This is awesome. Like I love that. This is so cool. Like I would love to do that.
But that's
Um
but that's amazing too because Glow from the '80s and the Glow the Netflix series inspires a lot of women. So that's actually great that you brought that up because a lot of people tend to forget that Glow is like a thing.
yeah, Glow, and I feel like Glow is a big thing. Like I love Glow. Like even I watched some of it from the 80s and like found clips like that. But then obviously the show on Netflix was the big thing that I was like, oh, what's this? And watching it, I was like, oh, this is just so good. Like, I love this. This is so cool. Like, I wish like I could do this. And then I kind of did. So yeah.
So I got to say right now, so what you're doing, I'm going to point this out because you made the two words of I wish. So pretty much what you're saying is when you got someone as tall as yourself doing what you do, dare I say to coin the phrase tall glass of water, if you will, to quote Tommy Davidson and You Want a Man. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking it back that you, yes, I made that reference. So it's kind of like when Skilo was talking about I wish I was a little bit taller. That was like a lot of people's influence song for people that were not tall.
Mm-hmm.
And
If
also,
I was a little bit taller, I wish I was a baller.
yep, there you go. And also, still one of my personal favorites when it comes to I Wish, Carl Thomas off that emotional album. I Wish, Summer Rain, emotional. Hell yeah.
Oh my god, classics, naming classics all day today.
Hey, man, I'm just saying, like, this is our era. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Talking about
Yeah.
30, so you get it. You get it.
Yeah. I totally get it.
No, I gotta ask you about modeling because god dang, I gotta say we were talking about from the imagery standpoint, work of art, killing it on the photo games, looking absolutely beautiful. Another thing I gotta mention, man, another one of your preferences that we've seen a lot in your things. We talk about your feet as well, encompassed in that as well, from the foot modeling standpoint, doing your thing. Like a lot of those photos, including your feet, man, I gotta say, it goes with a testament of your overall being and your overall character. You've been killing it on the modeling front.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I live in LA. I do curve modeling and stuff like that, plus size modeling as well. And it's funny because that's like all how I got into this. Really, it started. I was at a shoot, and the photographer was like, "Hey, like you have like really nice feet," and I was like, oh thanks. Like it was something I just didn't even really like think about because ever since I was a kid I knew I had nice feet. Like I've always really liked my own feet. I have like what they call like the Egyptian style toes or like staircase toes, so they're like perfectly aligned, and I've always been like big on that. Like, oh, your nails always need to be painted, like, or like your toenails always need to be done. Like, these are this is the perfect foot. Like, it's just like something that I've always, I don't know. always knew about, I guess, is when I was younger. But when he was like, "Yeah, you have nice feet," I was like, "Oh yeah, thanks." Like that's chill. And he's like, "No, like for real, like you have super nice feet. Do you know like about foot fetishes?" And I was like, I mean, like I've heard of foot fetishes, but I don't actually really know anything about it besides like if you have a foot fetish, you like feet. And he was like, "Okay, well, let me like introduce you to this world." So he introduced me to like the foot world of like Instagram. And he had his pages was foot quality out here in LA. Shout out to him for putting me on. But yeah, he showed me like his page. He had like 90,000 followers, like something crazy. I was like, what the hell? What is this? People, it's all just feet. Like you just post pictures of feet. And he's like, yeah, like, would you mind if I just took pictures of your feet? I'll put them on my page and we'll see how it goes. I was like, yeah, sure. So then like within a couple of days, people were just like asking if I had a profile. And so then I made one. And then within days, I had like 3,000 followers. It was crazy. And so I just like kept it up. And with how Instagram is, it's like unfortunately they were deleting a lot of people there for a moment. But kept making a new page, and now my page right now is pretty solid. I work with quite a few people now when it comes to like the foot world. Wolfie White polish, nail polish. I work with them. DJ Ryan White, like he's really cool. He's in, I believe, Cleveland. I want to say Cleveland. That's probably wrong. I'm probably wrong on that, but he's super cool. He it has his own like nail polish and everything brand, and so like I rep them now. I work with them. Pretty Feet Mafia. They have these really cool slides, and they're getting new gear to wear, like shirts, sweatshirts, stuff like that. Grown and Sexy. I work with them as well. They have workout gear and stuff that I've shot in, and it's really cool like being able to get into this just with the foot stuff has introduced me to all these other people and have given me opportunities to work with them. And it all started with just someone pulling me to the side and being like, hey, you have nice feet. So yeah, it's pretty
So
cool.
you're like the walking embodiment of two things, like that one episode on My Wife and Kids where they tell Michael Kyle, Damon Wayans, you got nice hands, and he's doing the hand modeling deal. And then the other thing I will mention too, you're kind of like the embodiment of one of my favorite Nelly songs, E-I-E-I-O-O, what's poppin' tonight? You're sucking for corn rolls and manicured toes. Hey, that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. But I digress. But I digress. It's one of those things that's also very cool because it's modeling from different standpoints and also from the foot world and everything. There's a lot of people are into that type of stuff, which is very cool. And I think it's a great outlook and just an overall avenue just to promote yourself. And I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really nice. I love being able to work with all these people and be able to promote myself in so many different ways. Um I love it. I feel like I have, there's something for everybody. So and just I get to do all these different things, and it's so much fun, and I love it. I'm really blessed.
First and foremost, again, the term whole lotta. That's a whole lotta that you're doing, and it's a wonderful thing. It's true. Like that's great.
Yeah.
Like no, I think what I love about you too is again, we talk about the vibrancy, we talk about the overall athleticism. It's just I think the future is so bright for you. And to quote Notorious B.I.G. in 112, the sky's the limit. So here's to a bright future on that with the rise there, Miss KK King.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So, a couple final things before we close this out. Excuse me. Now, if you want to come back on the show, Overture's here anytime. I love to have a round two with you.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. I'm always down.
Alrighty. So, okay. So first and foremost, you're not gonna just say you're always down. You're gonna be like Brandy. You want to be down. Down? All right. Anyway.
I was just singing that song the other day. Oh gosh.
Hey,
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. Funny thing I will say, first and foremost, besides the fact that got to be down. Yeah, anyway, another thing I gotta mention, before you actually came on, I had my 90s playlist, and one of the songs that came on, it's a very underrated song for those who haven't heard it. Brownstone, If You Love Me, from like the mid '90s. Good stuff. Good stuff. R&B wise, they were signed to Michael Jackson's label. Good stuff. Good stuff and good times.
Ooh, that's a play. Dang, I didn't even know they have a play. Well, I guess they have a lot of people, so it makes sense for them to have a playlist.
Hey,
But yeah,
I got a lot of plays from the '90s. It's funny, like my eclectic music wise is like I'll go back to the '40s and listen to the Andrews Sisters talk about Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy of Company B, and then we'll have some Tony talk about Anniversary. So I'm very eclectic with my mix, and it's funny because my mom makes fun of me. She's like, "You go from this to the Tony." I'm like, "Hey, I just mix it up. That's what I like. It's what I like. It's what I like." Bruno Mars.
I
So
love it.
so a couple of things I definitely want to ask you is now for someone like yourself who's truly blessed, and I love that because again, you're very humble and you're very professional in your line of work. Do you have any advice, if you will, for anybody who wants to get in the session world, the modeling world, for someone who's accomplished as you are thus far into your career, into your tenure? What advice would you give them?
Um, I mean, if you want to get into the world, I would do it, man. Do it. It opens so many doors that you could not even imagine. It's so much fun. I would say don't don't do it just for like money though. I feel like a lot of people will get into like the session world or they do stuff like that just for money, but you really got to love what you're doing. And that goes for anything. You got to love what you're doing because at the end of the day, if you don't, then it just turns into a job and it's not fun anymore. But if you really looking to get into this, shoot, YouTube some moves, learn some stuff, do your research, reach out to other girls because in my experience or like we're just very friendly, we're always down to help. We're help to here to help you set up your like profile, whatever you need, like if you want to know where to go, how to start your Twitter, how to do this, if you need shout outs, whatever it is, just hit up some girls. Definitely hit me up if you're interested. On Twitter, I'm King KK. That's QING KK. And then on Instagram, I'm KK underscore King QING underscore 32. If you have any questions at all, feel free to hit me up because I'm always down to help. And just go into it being excited and ready to go, I guess. Like I just definitely am all about like positive energy and I feel like that helps in so many ways. So if you're gonna get into this, don't just do it for money. Do it because you're really interested and you want to have fun, you want to have good times, you want to travel, reasons like that.
Beautifully said, beautifully and bluntly said. And I will say this: Tupac style, hit her up. New Edition style, hit her off. Home again. That's what we doing. New Edition style, taking it back to '96. Urkel's coming down, y'all. It's Family Matters. It's Stefano Kell. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I digress. I'm sorry, but it's one of it's one of those things where if you're not following KK, because I will say this right now, you're a hell of a follow. Twitter wise, Instagram wise, I'm all about it. I love your posts. Definitely a fun follow for Miss KK King. And I will say this before we even close this out as well. Do you have any final words for your fans, KK? Been supporting you since day one, watching you grow, progress, and grow. You got any final words for your people, your fans?
Shoot, final words. Just thank y'all so much for your support and for being there through the deleted profiles, all that stuff, and watching me grow. I really appreciate it. I clearly wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all my fans and followers and everything like that. So I really do appreciate it. This world has like changed my life. The fetish world really has changed my life, and I am so appreciative of it. And I'm so grateful. So thank you guys so much for your support. And keep on following for some fire stuff, y'all.
Beautifully said once more. And for Miss KK King, my name is Mike Larkin. Thank you guys for listening to another edition of On the Mic with Mike. My final words are, as always, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Miss KK King, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.